Welcome into the Bitcoin Made Simple podcast. I'm your host, Cory Tusick. Going to talk. I hope you guys enjoyed last week's episode with Ashton Forbes. Very interesting conversation. Again, I don't know if any of what he said is legit or how legit it is. I think it is, at least partially. You know what I mean? And it's always good to ask questions. So part of what I want to get into today, if you missed it, it was him talking about the Malaysian Airlines. And I want to talk about what happens to Bitcoin if energy is free. So get into that. But before we do, I want to thank the Bitbox O2 hardware wallet. Go to bitbox.swiss/Bitcoin Made Simple. Use promo code Bitcoin Made Simple to get 5% off. And it's the easiest hardware wallet to use. It's so simple. It's got a little touch screen. It's about the size of a thumb drive, and even a Neanderthal like myself can figure it out. So if you really need one, and if you don't have a Bitcoin wallet, if you don't have a hardware wallet, you need one for sure. Go to bitbox.swiss/Bitcoin Made Simple. Use promo code Bitcoin Made Simple to get 5% off. And also brought to you by Barefoot Mining. Barefoot Mining, Bob Burnett. He is in charge of Barefoot Mining. He's been on all the big podcasts. He's been on this podcast multiple times. Barefoot Mining has made it their mission to grow and secure the Bitcoin mining network by bringing a diverse set of operations to life. Barefoot Mining is always looking for more energy and like-minded investors for new projects. Barefoot Mining continually seeks partnerships across a variety of energy sources, including but not limited to hydroelectric, stranded gas, flared gas, bioenergy, solar, geothermal, and wind. You can find us at www.barefootmining.com or at barefootmining on X/Twitter. So, to answer your questions of what are we going to talk about today, Ashton, brought up the theory that potentially Bitcoin mining potentially there is free energy. Not necessarily creating new energy, because energy can't be created or destroyed, but it can be transported from one place to another. Anyways, if there is a way for humans to tap into a free energy source, that would probably not be good for Bitcoin, because a proof of work, and I initially was like, yeah, like free energy, mine Bitcoin with it, and Bob Burnett was like, not so fast, my friend. He's like, I don't know if it'd be good for it, because the cost is part of what is driving the price and what secures Bitcoin. The proof of work, the requirement that you need to prove your work is pretty important. So let's just say I came across, doing a thought experiment, I come across a free energy source, an ability to create energy out of nothing. That, I would channel it into Bitcoin miners, which would then turn it into computing power, which would then give off the energy of heat. So because it can't be created or destroyed. But if it didn't cost anything, it would be beneficial for me in the very short term. Very short term. I'd be like, killing it. Like, this is great. Although, you need like quite the capital expense to make a huge, huge dent. You get one, I'm just doing math off the top of my head, but if you got one S21, which is like the newest, latest, and greatest, one of those at 188 terahash, you're probably looking at like $300 a month. So even then, you'd still have to have a barrier of entry to buy the machines. But then it becomes, you know, very, after that, it's just straight profit as long as the machine runs. But how long do you think it is? Let's just say in a perfect world, you discovered free energy and you just used it for the rest of your life and never told anybody else about it. I don't think you'd be able to do that. I don't know if anybody that'd be able to do that. But you'd be able to, I don't know. I mean, now that I think about it, though, the barrier to entry would then become the barrier to entry could become the cost of the machines. If energy was free, but you had to mine Bitcoin, but that still doesn't work, though, because all the old machines are just mining for free. So, the latest and greatest, but then it could become like a hash war, then in order to dominate proof of work, it would take, corporations or nation states or whatever to put tons of resources into creating the newest, best, latest, and greatest ASICs, servers, mining servers. So if that's where it goes, then thinking about it that way, it actually maybe isn't the be all end all. Maybe it doesn't spell the death of Bitcoin because, if energy was free, I'm trying to think this through to see if that really does kill it. Because if energy is free, then, all the machines out there will just get plugged in. Everybody plug them into their, kitchen outlet. If you have an old S9 or something like that, you just plug it and let it go. And you would end up, having a massive spike, all-time high in hash power. But, here's another thing, though. Nobody would be selling the Bitcoin in order to recoup energy expenses, although a lot of people would be mining it just to have it and sell it. Maybe the only way that it protects is if the world has flipped over to Bitcoin as the world reserve currency. Let's just say that happens. I would think that would have to happen before the discovery of free energy, because when free energy has been, if they could just move away from it, they could just move away from Bitcoin, maybe ignore it. But if it became the world reserve currency before free energy was discovered, then you'd get a BitBox02 hardware wallet from bitbox.swiss. No, if it was discovered before free energy, or if it became the world reserve currency before free energy was discovered, then it would be in the best interest of the world to keep proof of work going. So people could throw a bunch of old computers on, and hash power could be at an all-time high, and it'd be like maybe a national security, a global security event, cause the whole world to melt down if the financial system collapsed. So then nation states would be incentivized to be pouring revenues into the development and creation of new hashing servers, more efficient, So, everyone in the world could run 150 terahash on average computer in their house and be mining the crap out of Bitcoin for free. But then if it's the world reserve currency, the main thing that you would want to do if you're interested in making sure the markets don't collapse and the economy doesn't melt down, if you're the United States, you're like, we got to figure out how to come up with a, 800 terahash machine and deploy millions of them and millions and millions. And, one for, just to get back to the point where the hash balance, like the balance of hashing power has been spread around relatively evenly to the point that everyone and it keeps going that way. But that also might be, now that I think about it, once Bitcoin has become the world reserve currency, hold on. And I might be an idiot, so I'm just throwing that out there. I might be dumb, but I'm working through this live with you guys. So the idea is that, in the year 2140, whenever all the Bitcoin have been mined, is that the only Bitcoin to be made going forward would be from fees. When the block reward is 0, you would only get Bitcoin from fees. And there's a lot of arguments, and I believe a lot of them, to say it will more than make up for it, because, Guy Swan made a great point. I can't remember if he did it on the podcast when I was in Raleigh for the meetup, but he made a great point where he said, what if, people say, oh, no one would ever pay $5,000 in fees to transfer their, Bitcoin. And he said, well, what's the main store of value right now? The main store of value is a house for most people. When they transfer that to another person in exchange for cash or whatever, they pay $5,000 in closing fees. So yeah, it is worth it. People do pay that. The market's already proven it. So there is, I think, very strong, if it stays where we're having to consume energy to do proof of work, or pay for energy to do proof of work just off fees, Bitcoin will survive. But now that I'm thinking about it, it might be pretty cool if energy were free and it was just available everywhere, and everyone just plugged in a machine in their house that ran the monetary network, and the energy is free, so it doesn't cost anything, and you could have fees be as low as 0.01% or something like that. So it'd be like truly decentralized. It's like every person in their home, like wherever you live, in your apartment, whatever, like, you have your Wi-Fi router is the thing, plug it in when you move to a new place. You have that, and you plug it in, and, it would be just one of the things that you move with you. And knowing, you'd have your node and your miner running, and knowing that you're securing the global financial system. You don't have to do it, but why not? It makes a free and fair system for everyone. I don't know. Call me crazy, and like I said, I might be stupid, but maybe that's okay. Maybe if free energy is discovered after Bitcoin has become the world reserve currency, in that scenario, maybe it works. In the no fee, no block reward, minimal fees scenario, it's just computer servers running in the background, keeping the whole system in check. And there will have to be people that are securing it constantly and working on it. And, so that's where a little bit of the fees, it'll probably be nation states at that point, protecting it. This isn't a fully fleshed out idea. But it's an idea. So that being said, get yourself a BitBox O2 hardware wallet, and I will talk to you guys later.